Two humorous nurses would like to acknowledge the true custodians of the land in which we record our podcast, the Yorta Yorta people.
We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders listening today. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Two humorous nurses with Kelly and Jessica.
The podcast that thinks 2 degrees is better than 1, unless it's a tear.
Welcome to Two Humorous Nurses, where we plan to bring you funny, informal, conversational chat about all things nursing.
So today we have April. She's doing a double degree, registered nursing and midwifery, and is currently working as a RUSON. She was also Alisha's student midwife, so we figured the poor girl needed an opportunity to debrief after Alisha's little bathtub stunt during her birth. Welcome, April.
Hi, thank you.
Hi. Right, start at the beginning. Tell us why you wanted to become a nurse and why you thought a double degree would be a good idea.
Well, it actually was never that I wanted to be a nurse. That never occurred to me, but I just decided one day I wanted to be a midwife. So I actually accidentally discovered my passion for midwifery. I thought I wanted to be a childcare teacher. And I remember sitting in the career counsellor's office at school in Year 9. I was adamant that I was going to drop out and do a traineeship. And so she organised for some work experience, and I actually discovered I wanted to be a midwife. So that's how I accidentally stumbled upon that.
Because newborns are better than toddlers.
Yeah, well, I was obsessed with babies, but then I was like, I actually want to deliver them, because in Health and Human Development in VC, I studied that, and I remember learning about like embryos, and I was like, this fertilisation stuff is pretty cool. It's pretty fascinating. And
is that just because you want to have sex?
Is that going in the podcast?
Yes, it is.
I actually was working one day on the ward, and I ran into that career counsellor lady from school, and she stopped me in the hallway, and she was like, oh my God, like, you're a nurse and a midwife now. Like, I remember 8 years ago you were telling me you wanted to like drop out and work at the daycare, and now look at you, you're like a midwife and a nurse. And she actually made me stop in the hallway, and she took a photo of me in my scrubs. And she's like, I'm going to show all the teachers at school this.
Oh, that's so funny.
cute.
I love that.
Yeah.
I told the career guidance counsellor that I wanted to be a mortician, and it just got me an appointment with the social worker. She's like, are you okay? I'm like,
God.
yeah, I love dead things.
If I had an appointment with the school, what are they called?
Career counsellor.
Job lady.
Yeah, the job.
I wouldn't have went. I wasn't into working.
No.
No.
No. I mean, I don't want to work now. I'm not into working now. Someone get me a job that pays a lot that I don't have to do anything.
And lucky that you weren't in childcare, because the pay's pretty shit.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I
so
thought I was
shit.
just like obsessed with babies, but like midwifery is not even about the baby.
Baby,
now.
no.
It's like it's all women centered. Like I
Yeah.
love being there for the woman, like in such like a vulnerable time
Yeah.
of their life. Yeah, it's really
I love
rewarding.
that.
Yeah.
I also thought I would do childcare and did
Same.
4 months of my TAFE course, and then I had to go on placement, lasted 2 days, call in sick for the rest and pulled out. I was like, kids are
Wasn't meant to
fucking
be.
awful.
all the way until 3 weeks from the end of my child
No.
care certificate, and got a full-time job. I was like, later with you.
Yeah.
And I've never looked back.
Yeah. Fuck kids. Ugh. Tell me, what's the hardest part about doing a double degree?
Definitely the commitment. It's a big load to juggle placement, theory, and then we have these continuity of care experiences. They're the women that we recruit outside of university, so you follow 10 women. And then we have to do 1,800 hours of placement. So compared to the nursing degree, that's about 800 hours. So we have a lot to do.
Yeah.
And if you obviously don't get all your births in time, you have to be on call. So I spent a lot more hours of placement than I needed to just to get those births.
Yeah.
I'm just lucky that I'm 21. I don't have anything better to do with my life than study, I guess. And I'm lucky I live at home.
Go
so.
to the pub. I could think of lots of
But they
things.
still do that and do 1,000 hours of placement,
Yeah.
not like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Well, we probably could have.
I drank on Friday night, and by Saturday afternoon, I was like, I can't do this again. I only had
I'm too old for that now.
a few drinks.
She was scrumpy on Friday night, let me just say. What's your plan when you graduate? Midwifery or nursing?
I actually just got a grad year offer in half nursing, half midwifery, so the dual stream, and it will be 8 months midwifery, so it'll be antenatal, postnatal, birth suite, special care, and then lactation and domiciliary. So every aspect of maternity, and then 4 months of nursing. So I haven't received my rotation yet, but I chose ED, pediatrics, and then ICU. So I'll find out what I get, but that's the short-term goal. But long-term, I would love to do maternal child health nursing.
Oh, please. And can you be good at it?
Oh.
I'm sure you would be.
Don't mention cow's milk protein allergy.
No.
I heard that.
You can. Yeah,
Are you
you
gonna
can
go?
talk.
It was in the last one, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that people don't like maternal child health nurses around here. All the appointments I go to.
I don't know if it's just around here. Honestly, I didn't take Amelia. Well, Amelia was preemie, so I took her. Well, the first time she came to our house, and she was only 6 weeks old, so she was still 38 weeks corrected, and she wasn't even at her birth due date yet. And the midwife was like the maternal nurse was asking me all these questions, and I was like, but she's not even due yet. Do you go off corrected age or actual age? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, you might want to look into that. And so then I took her to the next one, and I went in there because I wanted to have her weighed because I'd sort of stopped having visits from the midwives at the hospital. And again, they were extremely worried about her weight, which was actually quite up from what it had been. But because she was tiny, they were like very concerned because, you know, she was like 10 or 12 weeks old, but I'm like, she's literally only 2 or 4 weeks corrected. Like, not, like, no. And I was like, well, actually, she's up. Anyway, then I just stopped going, and I just kept going to my GP because I was like, I need the book filled out. What should I fill it out myself most of the time because who says someone else has to do it?
I went with the first 2 kids, and then your third kid comes along, and you
Don't even
I
have
went for a
photos.
while.
Riding a bike.
I went up until 12 months.
Yeah. I mean, I took her to the child health nurse when she was 4 because we had to take her before kinder. And maybe she was a bit younger than that. She might have just nearly been 4. She was about to have her immunisations. And she was like, maybe she was 3. Anyway, like young. And she was like, and what toothpaste do you use? And I was like, and she just looked at me and I was like, none. And she's like, has she been to the dentist? And I was like, her teeth literally only came in a little while ago. Like, she's like, you need to use toothpaste, gave me all these sample packs. And she's like, you're a nurse, aren't you? And I was like, don't shame me. I'm an adult nurse. And then it just never crossed my mind. Like, I brushed her teeth every single day. Literally never crossed my mind to use toothpaste because I was worried it would be too strong. I didn't know you could buy kids' toothpaste. Anyway, she's 10 and still uses kids' toothpaste, although she's obsessed with High Smile at the moment, so she uses expensive
I just bought
toothpaste.
some of that
Yeah.
Christmas, exactly.
All the flavours there.
You want to get have it for Christmas,
Yep.
toothpaste,
Yeah.
and they'll fucking love it.
Everything at the moment is for Christmas because
It's just
we're
nearly
like
December.
we're building up to it.
New jocks, Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, I really need some hankies, and I was like, Christmas. You have to hold out.
You're currently working as a RUSON. There's RUSOMs too?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
RUSOMs, yeah.
Are you a RUSOM as well?
No.
Can you only be a RUSON in one place?
I don't know, but RUSOMs, they do like baby baths and they heat
Yeah.
up the bottles,
Boring
formula,
stuff.
all that. Well, no, that would be
Is
fun.
that boring?
Better than showering the old men.
Well,
Wow.
a newborn baby
Yeah,
or a
wrinkly
wrinkly
old
old
man.
balls.
I'm partial to either. Your face.
Oh, I don't know.
So what does RUSON stand for?
Registered Undergraduate Student of Nursing, and then RUSOM is Student of Midwifery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
She does a lot.
I know.
So we work under the supervision of registered nurses. So they sort of delegate us tasks. So I work on our acute ward. So I kind of get handover, and then I'll do a round of OBS if anyone's due. And then sugars, blood sugars, get them up for brekkie, make their beds, hygiene. And then I head out to urgent care, do some ECGs, simple dressings. Yeah, so just...
So you don't take a patient load though. You just float around and help out people. It's like an assistant in nursing, I guess, is and I think that's what they're called in New South Wales.
Probably.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually have a scope of practice. So there's a list of things we can and can't do. We can do hygiene, all of that. We can't do documenting. We can't take a patient load.
You can't take notes. So
Can't take
annoying.
notes, yeah. So,
What?
I know. She comes to urgent care and does all these great things, but then
Yeah.
can't
And then
write
someone has to
anything
write
down.
about
I feel
what
like you
I've
should
done.
write them and then someone
It's,
codes
yeah,
sign
like a
off.
student
Like a
that you
student,
should be
yeah.
It's
able to
actually more
co-sign.
dangerous that I've gone and done something and someone's
Yeah.
writing on behalf of me.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty dangerous.
It's really interesting. I think that's a really good. Do you have another job, or is that your only job
it's my
outside
only
of?
job, yeah.
So do you
When
think
she
that
turns
it's?
up.
I have my own roster. I make my own
Her
roster.
own, and she just turned up.
I
You're
just
like,
wake
oh,
up in the
April's
morning
here.
and I'm like, oh, I might come in today. And I just rock up and then I say, oh, I want to go home and tan at 12 o'clock, so I just leave. They don't care. They're just like, oh, you're here, you helped, and I went home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's bloody good at it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I think would you recommend it for students, nurses to do? Whereabouts in your study can you start doing it?
You can start after being at university for 12 months and you can work in theatre,
Yeah.
ED, special care nursery, anything. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it to anyone that's listening that's a student
I
nurse.
wish I'd been able to.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was doing my EN training, I worked as a carer in a nursing home. When I was a registered nurse, well, I suppose I still worked as an enrolled nurse while I was doing my registered training. Worked full time as an enrolled nurse. What a dickhead. But I think that it's such a good opportunity. Like, I reckon Lisa Fitzpatrick said it best. We had a lunch that we went to a couple of years ago with her. She said that it's better to get nurses out of McDonald's, like nursing students out of McDonald's or Woolies and into a hospital, because that's where you're going to learn. And it's a great opportunity to feel comfortable in a hospital setting and to learn how to talk to patients. And
Yeah, I never knew what it
Absolutely.
was until the CEO at our hospital actually came up to me and she said, oh, you should be a RUSON here. I started it when we had COVID testing in the drive-through clinic. And then, I moved on to the ward and I was the only RUSON for a while, but it's getting bigger now in hospitals.
yeah.
So we do have a few RUSONs at our hospital, but it's given me such valuable skills and knowledge and just even
Or
I
just
pick up on
being there.
things. Like
Yeah.
I just hear the doctors and they order blood tests, and
Yeah.
I just pick up on things that I just wouldn't even.
Yeah. And you get to
Yeah.
witness things that you might not see. Like, you'll get to see, I don't know, like patients dying or trauma events in the urgent care or cardiac events or falls or, and then you're comfortable so that when you go out and you take a patient load for the very first time by yourself, you have some
You'll
level
be-
of comfort.
Whereas I was like, what the fuck?
Where's
Nobody's
my
here.
preceptor?
Am I
What do
going
I
to give
do?
these medications by myself?
Yeah,
Is that allowed? Is anyone going to watch me?
like I can give out Panadol by myself. What do you mean? No, I can't. But like,
I was gonna say,
that's what it would be
right.
like
No,
when you're
yeah,
out
yeah.
in the real
Yeah.
world. Like
What?
I can give out Panadol. Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know, it's weird.
Jeez. I know.
I was terrified, like
Oh.
absolutely felt sick every single day for like months.
what doing like med?
Just
Everything.
like being
Being a nurse.
It's such a huge responsibility. You come out
I
of
was
uni
like-
and then they're like, here you go. Here's the lives of 6 people in your
I
hands.
was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 30, like or
Yeah.
31.
You had life experience.
Yeah, but I wasn't an EN before I was an
You'd
RN.
beaten
I was
shit
just-
up. Yeah, but you'd fucking done everything. You had a sandwich named after you.
I did. It was a roll, actually.
Sorry,
not
a roll.
sandwich. And it was a fucking good sandwich roll, by the way,
Sandwich roll.
with ham.
I know, I still haven't properly tried one.
You wouldn't even know what we're talking about.
No, I need context.
Once upon a time, I worked in a roadhouse and I had my own roll, the Jess special, which was a ham and salad roll with a potato cake in it.
Were you pregnant when you?
No, I wasn't. But it was
I hope it's still on the menu.
I think it's shut down now. After I left.
Went out of business. Yeah. The backbone of the
Never
organisation's
having a
gone.
Jess sandwich ever again.
Righto, student midwife time.
Oh yeah.
So you have to do 10 continuity of care patients.
Yeah.
How fun is that? What do you do?
Kind of recruit them from about 3 months, sort of when they announce on Facebook, kind of thing.
Stalk them down, like slide into the
If
DM.
you're really desperate, you might message them and say, hey, do you mind having a student? But usually I get them through word of mouth, or like my hairdresser one day came up to me and said, oh, I'm pregnant. Can you follow me? But yeah, just follow them for probably from 3 months to when they deliver, and you go to their appointments. So for antenatal appointments, it can be ultrasounds, GP, midwife appointments, and we can do the blood pressure, we can do the fundal height, which is where they measure with your belly with the tape measure. And then you do 2 postnatals, so you can go to the maternal child health appointment, GP checkup, even just being there on the postnatal ward doing breastfeeding and the newborn examination, all count as points of contact with the woman. And, yeah, you do 10, so...
That's a lot to expect.
Yeah.
How long's your course? Like how long?
It's... So you recruit 10 over 4 years, so you
Okay.
kind of space it out, 1 or 2 in the first year,
Yeah.
pick up 2 or 3 the next year. You try not to pick up too many in 4th year because you
Yeah.
obviously have
You're busy.
so much placement. So I was
Yeah.
really lucky I only had Alisha and another lady.
With the midwifery placement, do you get to be involved in a lot of births, or is it all different areas of placement? Like it's not just birthing suite.
Yeah, so in first year you do antenatal, second year you do birth suite postnatal,
Yeah.
third year you do special care or NICU, and then
Yeah.
4th year you do birth suite again to really consolidate. So I've done 18 weeks this year.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Oh.
mostly in birth suites. It's been so full on.
That is a lot.
And yeah, in 4th year you can kind of guide the births yourself. They do trust you that you know what you're doing and
Yeah.
have a lot of faith in you, and they kind of take a hands-off approach and let you
That's pretty cool.
deliver, and they just step in if they need, if you're comfortable
Yeah.
delivering it yourself.
What's your favourite aspect of midwifery?
Sorry.
So I'm going way off.
you can go way off.
I know. I was just like, oh, this is
This is
interesting.
interesting.
Because you just think midwifery, you just think birth.
What's your favourite?
What's your favourite? Like the NICU, antenatal, delivering.
My favourite area is probably birth suite because no 2 days look the same. You can labour with women for hours and hours, and it's disappointing when you go home on your shift and you don't know what they've had, or
Yeah.
and you weren't the one to deliver it. So it's really nice when you come back on the next shift the next morning and you like check up on them on the ward, see what they've had, and yeah, it's really special to be involved in like such a special moment in people's lives. Like, although I might not remember every single labour and birth I've ever been in, it's nice to know that they probably do remember me.
you.
Yeah.
Like they might see me in the supermarket and think, oh, she delivered my baby. And yeah, it's really
That's
special.
cool.
Do you, again, just going off topic, but do you know how many babies you've delivered?
Yeah, I've delivered 30 vaginal births, and then I think about being involved in about 17 assisted deliveries, which include cesareans, forceps and vacuums. I only know that because I've got my little portfolio book that we have, and I needed 30 vaginal births to finish, and that's why I know I've got 30 because I only just got them all. I was on call at like 4 a.m. to get them.
Yeah.
So I didn't get them in time, so I had to be on call for 2 weeks, and they'd call me at like 4 a.m. and they'd say, quick, there's someone having a baby.
It's good they support you.
Yeah, I was very lucky that
Because,
they wanted to get me through,
Yeah. Otherwise, it would be like, who's going to think to call the student midwife at 4 a.m. to like come in?
I had my name, my phone number plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
the midwives like laminated this bit of paper that says, please call April.
Oh, that's funny. That's really good.
Could you explain the birthing bath incident to us, please? From
And hold your mic up nice and high because we all need to hear this.
from a midwife perspective.
So I've been worded up by Kelly. I wasn't allowed to listen to the birthing episode, so my perspective might be very different. But
I assume it would be. Yeah.
Alisha was in the bath, just being very meditating. It was nice and calm, and then she was sucking on that gas for dear life, and it was really helping her.
Yeah.
And then Mick and I were kind of just sitting around letting her do her thing. And she kind of said something like, oh, I'm a bit dizzy, like I'm going to pass out. And I think Mick and I just didn't really know what to do. We were just, I don't know if we didn't believe her. We just thought she was just saying it. Like, I didn't think she was actually going to pass out. I think she was just like, oh, I feel a bit dizzy. And next minute she just starts like falling. And Mick and I just grab her. And I'm holding on for dear life. And then I think, oh, I better hit the staff assist. So I hit the staff assist and she come good. But these midwives come running in thinking there was a baby that was going to be born. We're like, no, she's passed out. And Alisha was yelling at me, no, hit the emergency button, not the emergency, not the staff assist.
Of course she was.
And I was like, oh, is it an emergency or is it a staff assist? I don't know. I was like, I don't know which one I'm meant to hit.
Yeah. You don't want to hit, like, you don't want to
I don't wanna-
overreact.
Yeah,
but you're
I
like,
didn't want them to think, oh, that's a bit extreme.
yeah.
What'd you hit that for?
Yeah, I was like,
I have hit that the emergency button one time, and a nurse came in and said there was no need for you to do that. You could have pushed the staff assist button.
it's so
I couldn't
obnoxious.
reach the staff assist button.
Yeah, there's a problem.
It's over there, and I'm standing right here.
So at any point, did you think you were going to hoist her out?
It never entered my mind, but now that I think of it, there was definitely tracking above the bathtub.
So that's you have to listen after we finish.
Okay.
You go and listen. Just listen
Did
to
she
the
talk
part.
about that?
Yes, she talked about how she woke up and there was everyone in the room, and she looked up and seen the tracking over the bar. And I lost it because I just was like, I know exactly where you're going with this. And she was like, I just tried to keep eyes open because they were holding me up, and I thought, there's no way they're hoisting me out of this fucking bar.
Naked too in the bathtub. What a sight.
Wow, like, dripping everywhere. She said that
never
was her
thought of
biggest fear. Yeah, it's good to know she was never at any point probably going to be
Have you
hoisted
ever
out.
hoisted someone out of the bath before?
No, because everywhere I've done placements, they've never had the bathtub running over COVID. And so
Oh, yeah.
it was really
Oh, yeah.
nice when I did Alicia's birth
a
because
lot
I've
of
never
COVID in the
experienced
Was
bath.
that the first time?
Yeah,
a lot
Alicia's
of
birth
COVID.
was the first one in the bathtub.
Well, it is.
I thought it was
Oh.
so cool.
I wish you had have been at my birth.
And tell us
Didn't
another
even know.
one.
Nobody in all three of my pregnancies ever didn't know anything about it, about having a student midwife.
Tell me about the other funny bit. You mentioned it to me when I talked on the ward. Tell me about that bit. Trent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Sweet. So Alisha was on the bed on all fours, and she was Lockie was nearly coming out. And usually at this point in the birth, people start saying things like, oh, I can't do this. This is too hard. So I was expecting her to have some things like that to say, but she'd done her meditation stuff. So she was in a really positive mindset. And she's laying on the bed, and it was pretty quiet. We're letting her do her thing. She just yells, I can do this. And we all just looked around. We're like, yeah, girl, damn right, you can do this. It was actually so uplifting. I was like, oh, this is great. Good on her. Like, she's got a bit of faith in herself. Like, no one doubted her for a second. And we're like, yeah, girl, that's the uplift we needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause it was so serious. And then she just blurts out, I can do this.
I think like Alisha to hype herself up in front of everybody.
No, it was just nice to hear because at that point people were like, oh, I can't do this. And she was
Yeah.
like, I can do this.
Yeah. Smash it out. Was it unusual being, given that you've worked with Alisha, did it seem weird? Like, will it be weird if you go back to work and do some shifts and you can be like, oh, I've seen your vagina?
To be honest, I actually every time people ask me this all the time, do you think it's weird that you see that? But when I'm delivering
not.
a baby, not once do I think like, oh, I'm looking at a
look at that
vagina. Like I
vagina.
never,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like I could be staring dead
don't
into
think-
it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I stared dead into them, and I'd never once think,
know.
oh, like that's a vagina. Like they all.
It's like when you're putting a catheter in or something. It's not like you're like, oh, look at the penis I'm touching.
Just looking at
You're
the
just
anatomy, not
putting-
the person behind
exactly.
me. Oh.
Yeah.
and I couldn't even tell you what it looked like. I've forgotten already.
Nothing special, Alisha. You hear that?
She's a person, not a vagina.
Oh, that's sweet.
What is it like to deliver a baby? Like, are there moments where, have you ever had a delivery that wasn't good? The outcome wasn't good?
Yeah, I've definitely seen enough obstetric emergencies to be scared of them, but I think we get a lot of training on preparing for shoulder dystocia or fetal distress to know or postpartum hemorrhage to know what to do. But it doesn't make it any easier. They're still awful to see, but that definitely scares me, knowing I'll be out in the real world next year to deal with things like that, and I'm responsible for that. But at the end
Hit the button.
yeah, hit the button.
The red
Moral of the
button.
story: summon help. But no, it's very exciting. Delivering babies, it's lots of adrenaline, and I just sometimes just sit there and think this is so crazy that I am witnessing the most massive milestone in their life, and I get to be here, and I'm so privileged to witness this. And then sometimes I see the husbands in the corner on their phones. I'm like, this is so amazing what I'm watching right now. Why don't you want to watch this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching your wife give birth. This is so cool.
Yeah, because they're scared. They're hiding in the corner.
Yeah, they don't want to see their
Scared
favourite
little-
pub burn down. That's what Cam said. Speaking of husbands, how was Mick?
He was so good. I wish all husbands were like that. He was
He's a good
he was
bloke.
great.
He'll never hear this.
No,
he doesn't listen.
Doesn't listen.
So he'll never know how good he is.
Yeah,
to be you, Nick.
he was while she was in the bath, he was watching some like videos on his phone, and he had the sound up, and Alicia's like, turn that down or put some earphones in. I was looking in the corner.
Yeah, I mean,
No, he did
we
so
all yelled
well.
at him. Cam laid down to go to sleep, and I thought, do you think that's wise? Do I get to go to sleep? Get up and pack the bag. He was like, oh, I was just trying to have a nap.
Sean wasn't even there for one of mine, so.
Oh, okay, you win.
Dixie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well you shouldn't have even been there. Fucking on the floor of the
In the
bathroom.
bathtub? Oh,
No, on the bathroom
floor.
floor.
Just in there.
know
Did
that.
you have birth in the bathroom? No.
No, that was
Jess.
Jess.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
what a
Yeah, he
loser.
missed the whole thing.
God.
He just thought I was
You
going to be in
almost
labour
missed
for
the
like
whole
12
thing.
hours.
I didn't know you were like in labour.
Oh, for
Because the
fuck's
baby
sake.
came out. Listen to her episode.
Okay.
She talks all about it.
All right.
Look, I just didn't know until I sat on the toilet, okay? And then I was like, holy
And then it's
fuck.
crowning.
That's a head.
And
Yeah.
it was a head. And I was literally, in my mind, I was in labour for 6 minutes.
Yeah. 3 days before that.
Dixie's like
And
your
6
youngest
minutes.
baby, isn't she?
No, I got another one.
Oh, so it wasn't even like your first baby.
That was my second baby.
Oh, God, I'll have to listen.
Yeah. And then my
Intrigued.
third baby was beautiful.
Oh, maybe you should have had a
Beautiful
student
birth.
midwife there.
I know. I've always wanted to be a midwife.
Oh, well, you can. You've got
I
half
don't
your
think
degree.
I can. I don't think I've got it in me. I don't know that I could deal with all the timing, like being on the clock and all the things that you're meant to do, because I don't think I could do that.
Do you mean like how midwifery's always got like a time limit on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it was really hard with Alisha, because I know she'd said like don't rush her after the birth, and we really need to deliver the placenta because of a history with the postpartum
PPH,
hemorrhage.
yeah.
And I was like putting cord traction on, and I had to guard her uterus, and she's like, "What are you doing, April?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm so sorry. Like I know I just really need to deliver this placenta. I'm so sorry." Like, yeah.
She
So
did
it's
say,
very hard.
yeah, she said at one point she was on her hands and knees and like still pushing. And she said she was very conscious of people touching her, and she was like, "Who's touching me?" And they're like, "April's just putting perineal pressure on." She's like, "Okay,
Warm compress.
okay, yeah." And then she's like, and then I heard again, "Who's touching me?" I was like, I could just imagine her there, like, "What are you doing down there?"
Like I know she said she wanted to explain things, and I think I said to her, "Oh, I'm just going to deliver your placenta," but I didn't tell her
how?
I'm going to.
it involves me like
Yeah.
pushing on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, like, yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
She's like, "Stop! What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I really need to get this out."
I wouldn't even know.
It's shit, but let me deliver it.
I'm pretty sure the anaesthetist had knocked me out by the time my placenta was coming out because I was asking too many questions.
You had a preemie, didn't you?
Yeah, 32 weeks. Yeah, my placenta was only.
Have you got a birth story?
Yes.
Okay. I'll
It's not that. It's not. My birth story is not that. I think it was just because I was so sick for so long. By the time we went into having the cesarean, I was very like, she'll just be better if we get her out. And so she did. She came out and she was fine. And I was still quite sick, which was annoying. And my blood pressure never went back to normal.
Do you have preeclampsia?
Yeah. Yeah. I was really sick by the end. And I'll never forget, like, when they said to Cam, and I don't ever say this to someone, but they asked Cam, if the worst happened to me, who would they want to save? And I was like, fucking save both. Now in hindsight, I'm like, you're a hospital. Save the child and save the mother. Why do you just take the baby away and be, oh, so's mum, you said the baby.
You gotta go give attention to your baby.
Yeah, like you'll die.
just
Or
die.
like if I said me, because I obviously said me because I'm a selfish bitch. What, they just put the baby over there and just let that die? No, so work on both of us. You have a team there. Like
Got the resources
yeah,
and the-
never let anyone say that. Who do you want to save? Cam was terrified. Poor boy.
Yeah,
he
what
was
would you
like,
say? I'll be a bloody stuttering.
he was like 23 or 24 years old. Like he was a baby. And then when we went in for this section, so it was the middle of the night and they did my spinal.
Yeah.
And then we were in there, back in the theatre, and I'd asked them to do the team timeout again because I was theatre
the what?
nurse, the timeout in the theatre, and I was like, do it again. I didn't hear it.
What is that?
Well, they confirm who you are, what you're having, well, and the team. They don't normally involve the patient.
Oh, and you were just like, fucking
Do it again. I didn't hear it the first time. But then I was like, where the hell's my husband? And so Cam had been like sat outside. He'd been asked who to save. He'd been seeing them all of a sudden go from everything sort of okay to like quite rushed to them saying you can't stay in here while she's having the spinal, to them get like, then he's sit outside and then they forget to bring him in. So by the time he comes in, he's like first time in operating theatre, like
just
sterile
asked
stuff.
all those confronting questions.
Yeah, and the anaesthetist is like, do not touch anything. He's like sat next to me and I was like, can you take photos? Have you got the camera? Take photos. He's like, I'm not fucking taking photos. I was like, take some photos. And then I asked this anaesthetic tech to take photos. She said, I don't have time to take photos. I've got 2 more sections after you. And I thought, someone take a photo.
That's really bad that they like said, who do you want to save? Because there should have been peds and a midwife on.
Exactly.
Which would do the baby. And
Yeah.
then every
Well, there
other
was.
person.
There was like a paediatrician. There was
More than
everyone.
adequate enough staff to
Yeah.
bloody save both of you.
No, I know. And I was like, and that
Were you in a
conversation
major Perth hospital?
in the women's and children's hospital.
Exactly.
Like in the...
Like women and children.
Yep. I was in the same hospital I was born in, King Eddie's. I think, yeah. I mean, I have absolutely nothing bad to say about them, but they do have a bit of a history, like every hospital, I guess, for having things. But I had nothing but amazing experiences with, and the special care nursery nurses were like, they were amazing. They were the only things that got me through those 3 weeks. They were like, they were so good. And the midwives were so funny because I'd have drips in both arms, and then she put one in my hand and she's like, shit, I blew that. You're going to look like you punched a wall tomorrow. And like it did, it blew up so much, and then all my knuckles went all black from the bruising and stuff.
God.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Was you nervous because you were a nurse or something?
No, she was like, "Oh, this is a good one." Put it in, boom, and I like felt
Always
it.
the good one. It's always you're like,
And it was quite
"Ooh,
rushed because they were trying to get some like infusions into me, so there was a bit of pressure, but it was fine anyway.
Cannulas in the hand hardest or hurt the most?
They hurt.
They hurt.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to learn how to do that next.
I don't think they're hard. I think sometimes they're easier because they do, especially if they've got a good vein, they do
vein.
traction the vein down so the vein doesn't roll or move, and you can really get a good angle to get it in.
To get it in, yeah.
But it hurts the patient.
Yeah.
Are you thankful that you did a double degree now that you're out, you're done, you're finished?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a midwife, but I wasn't sure about the nursing. But I'm glad I did both because there's so many things I feel like I wouldn't have known if I didn't do the nursing.
Yeah.
And it just helped with consolidating everything and time management and medications.
And now you have options too.
Yeah, nursing is so diverse and so many specialties.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
even
I'm so thankful I did
because
it, yeah.
people that are just midwives can't go and do other things. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you want to, but like you could go and work for like the Royal Flying Doctors and things like
Yeah.
that. Whereas that's a big leap from small town country. But anyway, do you know what I'm saying? Like you've done it and it's over now, and you can literally do anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going and doing travel nursing around Australia one day. So it'll be good to have both degrees.
Yeah.
And I know if you're going to work rurally or even remotely, like
Oh,
they would
froth at
just
a
and they're
midwife.
actually I think they're phasing out the single just straight bachelor
Yeah,
of midwifery
yeah.
because
I reckon
want you to
were phasing that out in WA
Yeah.
when I left
Yeah.
because really there's no
it's more favourable
Yeah.
to be double qualified. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then get some crit care behind you, and you're like, world is your oyster.
I know. I feel like since I've had exposure to urgent care, although it's not really comparable to ED, we definitely get like things in there that I've been exposed to, and I think that's where my interest in doing an ED rotation next year came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we see things in urgent care that you would never see
yeah.
or have to do things
course.
in urgent care that you would
Yeah.
never do in a hospital with a doctor in it.
Yeah.
I think that's really good for our nurses that
Oh,
they get
absolutely.
that independence to have to do their own assessments and
Yeah.
I've done, in my 6 years, I've done like so much compared to a lot of people I know that work in big hospitals.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like so much.
Yeah.
yeah. Even
Cannulas,
being
like even a cannula. Oh, never done that.
No, lots of. I mean, I had never done cannulas until I
you got
came here.
And now you're the
because-
cannula queen.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, can nail a cannula I could just throw it in.
Yeah, like since being in urgent care, I've gotten to know like the sepsis pathways, the chest pain pathways.
Yeah. Yep.
So I know what to do now when someone's like, "Oh, I've got chest pain." Bring them straight in and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Is that in your scope of practice?
no.
Is an ECG in your scope of
I
practice?
don't know. There's an inclusion and exclusion list, and it doesn't say it on either. So
I feel like
open for
I
interpretation.
feel like it doesn't matter who does an ECG, like as long as you know your placement of your things. But
As long
even
as you
then,
know your
just
lefts and
hit
rights.
yeah.
Well, it'll
Wrap it
say
the right way.
It'll say on the thing, have you
Says
stuff
reverse
yet?
gear or something like that, yeah.
It's like, should
but
you be
it's
doing
not
this?
like you're
not diagnosing it.
yeah, you're just doing it.
Yeah.
The only
I mean,
downside to being a
Don't give it to
RUSON-
me though, because I won't know what I'm
me
looking at.
either.
You're talking about ECGs.
Yeah.
Reading
Yeah.
them. Yeah, well, here, doctor.
yeah, exactly.
And they're like, oh, I actually have to be able to read it probably next year if I'm going to work in.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Just give it to a
That'd
doctor.
be even easier next year
Yeah.
in ED because there'll be people
Reg
everywhere.
will just be sitting in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but the one downside to being a RUSON is just because I might be independent at putting a catheter in on placement doesn't mean I can
Yes,
do it as a
yeah.
RUSON, which is hard. Because
Yes.
Frustrating.
it's very restrictive like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for coming to talk to us.
Well, thanks for having me talk about babies and something different on the podcast. Oh no, yeah, I've talked about babies.
No, we've not had a midwife.
Not a midwife.
No. We-
I'm not a midwife yet. I'm waiting for my
Almost.
registration.
Yeah. Well,
Are you going to fail?
No,
then-
I'm just waiting for Latrobe to submit my documents.
oh yeah.
Then you'll be a midwife.
Yeah.
God, if you can't be a midwife, then nobody can.
That's a big statement to make.
You're an excellent nurse.
Oh, thank
so
you.
I feel like you'll be an excellent midwife.
Can you say that about me?
You're an excellent nurse.
Thanks. You're an excellent nurse too.
Oh, thank you.
This is uplifting.
It's a loving nurse circle. We can do this.
Yeah, we can.
Well, there are no more babies being delivered here on the podcast, but you can deliver us a 5-star review since we pushed this episode out like a couple of champs.
Give us a follow on Instagram at Two Humorous Nurses Podcast, or find our private Facebook page. God, that was really hard to get out. Private Facebook page. Just search up Humorous Nurses. Yeah, that's it. I don't know why I ummed then.
You taking my line? Send us an email at hello@twohumorousnurses.com. Let's humorous like the bone. HUMERUS.
Bye.
Bye.